Hi there, welcome back to Aidans Railways. Today it's March's model railway haul. Anyway, what I mean by that is, since the beginning of March, what have I actually picked up in model form for the railway? And I've been quite lucky. There's a number of items that have come along this month, and I thought we'd just go through these all together in one video, just to show what it is. A bit of follow-up to some of the other videos, but in this case, it's more to do with what I picked up at bargain prices, I believe to be bargain prices, this month. So firstly, you may remember a number of videos back, I did a video where I basically repaired and, how can I put it, reconditioned this lovely A4 silver link. And I've just been pulling it with a set of L&R teaks from one of the model train sets itself. But been lucky enough to manage to pick up a full 4-car set of the Silver Jubilee coaches. They're in fairly reasonable condition. They've got all of their buffers. There might be an odd coupling hook missing out of the coaches themselves. But this one's actually had a cosmetic lamp fitted to the rear and the coupling removed as well, the D-shaped coupling, but it is the brake. So I've managed to pick up one brake, and I've managed to pick up 3 standard coaches as well. They've all got the same running numbers, and it's very hard to, you can just say pick out the L&R there on the actual bodywork. And there is a running number. How well you're going to be able to pick that up, I really don't know. But they are generic to all 3 of these coaches here. One of them has a number of marks on, and there's a little damage on its running board there. But I believe I can straighten that back out. But I didn't pay much. Now I saw these on eBay. There's been they turn up and they disappear all the time on eBay, and to be honest, whether it's because they haven't been available for a while, I don't know. Brand new, that is, from Hornby, but they seem to go for very silly money, as do a lot of things. I was very lucky. These were just marked up at £5 each, and I've been lucky enough that I actually got them for £4 each by the end of it. But so that's not really that bad, is it? £16 for 4 of the Silver Jubilee coaches, and I believe that they will run really rather nicely with my Silver Link. It means it's got its very own train, and I can focus over A4s and things like that with the L&R teaks. So there's the first one. Nice 4 set of the Silver Jubilee coaches. Also, with an earlier video, you may remember I managed to pick up 4 and then eventually 5 of the LMS Composite coaches, and at the same time as purchasing the Silver Jubilee coaches, I came across this one. Now, this is very shiny, and it's actually been done really well. This is actually a full repaint on one of them. Why someone chose to do a full repaint rather than just modify, I don't know, but how well you can pick this up. This is actually a full repaint, all new transfers, everything on it. It's remarkably good. You can see there, because the ends aren't that colour normally on those other coaches, and they are on here. We've got that, the corridor has been actually picked out. It's actually to what I would call a very good standard. But I'm quite happy with that. But that now means I've got 6 of those coaches, so I can either have a long rake, or I can run it as 2 separate trains if I want to. So I managed to pick that up for the bargain price of £4 as well. So that's not too bad. That was another one from Durham Trains of Stanley. More on the basic line, but I haven't actually had any of these before. I've got loads of the 4-wheel coaches that Hornby do in various different liveries, but I've never ever actually had them in the LNER teak. So there were 2 there. They just come in. They were second hand, and as you can see, they are in as new condition. I don't really believe they've been run, to be perfectly honest. But they came in. I just walked into the shop at exactly the right moment, and I managed to pick these up for a simple £4 as well. So yes, you might argue, if you're going to pay £4 for something like that, why would you pay £4 for something like that? Well, this is brilliant for branch line and that sort of thing. Absolutely great. Plus they fit in beautifully as well with young Aidan's Thomas and Friends Railway. And sticking with the Thomas and Railway theme, between myself and young Aidan, we have a phenomenal amount of the Hornby Thomas and Friends collection, and some of which we have a lot of, some of which we have like maybe 1 or 2 items of. And there was there was a number of items, but there was only 4 items that were really of any interest to me when I went into the model shop. And here's the first one, the milk tanker. Now, we have got absolutely loads of these. I mean, loads of them. But I like to have a long rake of these when we do have them out. And this one is in undamaged condition. It's boxed. It had marked on £5 on the box, and I think similarly, I think I only paid, I'm trying to think now, I think I maybe paid £18 for all 4 of these items. So a little over the £4 mark each. But that, for the Thomas and Friends stuff in this condition, is actually really very good. Similarly, as usual on the internet, they tend to go for very silly money. So we've got another Tidmouth milk tanker there, and that means that we've got one awfully long train of those now. One item we've only actually had one of until now is the Sodor tar wagons, or tankers you could say. And this one, similarly, has no damage to it. Wonderful. So we now have the 2 of them. That was definitely a purchase that I was happy to get, because they do go. The milk tankers are 2 a penny. You can find them all over the place. These don't tend to be like that. These and the oil ones. So I was very happy to be able to pick this one up to go with young Aidan's collection as well. Something we have 2 of until now was these more recent troublesome trucks. As you can see there, it's got the moulded face, and we've seen this particular truck before in loads of the sets, just minus the face, and I'm sure that's what that moulding detail behind this face really is about on those sets. They've just reused the moulding. But that means we've got a 3rd one of them. We've got loads of the more smaller open wagons with the sort of Series 1 faces on. Absolutely loads of those things, but we've only got a few of these now. But there's an extra one to go with them. And the 4th one, which I'm very happy about, we have got about 15 circus wagons. Now, they're from the packs of sets of 3. There's only actually about 2 or 3 of the wagons we don't have for the circus train. This was one of them. And this was picked up at exactly the same price as the rest. So, like I say, I'm sure I only paid about £18 in total for all 4. But this is one that we didn't have. So at the moment, we're just looking for the flatbeds and things like that. So with the Thomas and Friends theme there in sort of coming up, with those 4-wheel coaches, I thought I'd show you these ones right now. I'll just put these to one side. Now, something else interesting that I managed to pick up there that I hadn't seen one before is this rather lovely snow plough. Yes, this is an independent snow plough. Just look at that on the front. You can imagine that coming along and blasting the snow off the track to both sides. I've actually seen a couple of videos on the internet of just that happening. Absolutely love to get them. I paid, I think it was about £18-19. I can't remember this. And it was so unique, it was just sat there unboxed. I hadn't seen one available for a very long time. Didn't have anything like this. Maybe a little out of season now, I don't know. And the actual manufacturer of this one, if I can get the light right so I can see, is there we go, flangeway.com. I've had a quick look on the internet, and they retail new at about £40, so I got a bargain as far as I'm concerned. It might not be boxed, there's nothing actually wrong with it, it's in great condition. I'm going to have to work out what I'm going to run it with now, but I could just imagine these going sort of along the Sutton Carlisle back in the day, blasting the snow off the tracks. So that's quite a nice one, that. If you've got any ideas as to what I should have pushing this behind it, things like that, on a train clearing the tracks, let me know. If you've got any images or anything of something prototypical using one of these, please do get into those comments and let me know. But quite a lovely item, and it has got a NEM pocket, which is really good. So yes, the snowplow. Next up, we've got what I would call a project set. So there's a 90s mighty Mallard train set. Now, it's almost complete, but I paid what I would call a reasonable price, not too much, not too little for this, and I got 2 additional coaches. So I'm going to have a quick look at these additional coaches first. So these are the Gresley teaks, but they've been repainted. Well, they are repainted in the prototypical round. Now we're gonna have agree to disagree here. People call them blood and custard. People call them crimson and cream. And as a child, my dad, who used to see these running along the track all the time, always used to refer to them as rhubarb and custard. So I have a tendency to refer to them as rhubarb and custard, which sounds a little less deadly than blood and custard. And why you'd mix the two, I don't know. But anyway, I managed to pick up 2 extra of these coaches with the set. Now I'll tell you how much for it at the end of this little area, but they are great, they're lovely. That would bring this up to 5 coaches. So we've got the brake, and we've got a standard as well. Everything is present and correct, all the buffers are there. We've got the corridor one side, and we have the compartment doors at the other side. So there's 2 extra coaches to go with this set. Now, rather interestingly, this set, when it was new, would have had an oval track controller with a level crossing, and it would have also featured super sound. And I do remember this super sound. I think I had one in black as opposed to the red. But I do remember these as a child. Now I've got to tell you that this set, as soon as you open it up, it stinks of somebody's loft. This has obviously been stuck away in somebody's loft for some time. So in the set, we have the coaches. So we've got another brake there with everything present and correct. Let's put that one down. It's been reasonably well looked after in its packaging. It's got, you know, bubble wrap there. It's been secured in. It's kept it safe. You can see all of that is present and correct as well. It's got the plastic lined wheels, and at the moment, and ordinarily, if you watch the channel regularly, you'll know that I can't stand plastic wheels, but I might just leave them on for the time being with this, because they do look awfully nice with the white lining. You can see there's another standard Gresley teak repaint there. Now this is where it takes a nosedive, this set, but I had my reasons to go along with this. It does have one of the old Hornby controllers, and I do like using them for the rolling road and things like that, and it has got parts of the level crossing present, but not all of it. But I'm not too worried about that. It's not something that was a make or break with me for this particular set. Now, with some of the track is present as well. Some of it looks to be original, some of it is definitely replacement, because you can tell by the change in the colour of the track. You can see which one's nickel and which one isn't. So, excuse me. But we have an A4 Mallard in here, in BR green, bronze green. You can see that I've tested the tender, and the tender works just fine. Wants a bit of a clean. Obviously it's been gathering dust, sat inside this box in someone's loft for some while. This did come from the model shop as well. It had just come in as well. But this was the downside, and I knew this before I purchased it, and I still chose to go for it. When I opened the box to quickly look at it, I noticed, and it was also pointed out just in case I hadn't noticed, that there was some damage to Mallard. I'm trying to dive my fingers in here to get some of the damage. There's nothing wrong with the body shell at all. The body shell is absolutely perfect, pristine, brilliant. But it was brought to my attention that the bogie had been removed and there was a actual wheel set missing from it. And I thought, well, you know, fair enough. Right, but under closer inspection, which is why it also shows the price, the actual wheel set itself on the chassis is completely goosed, as you can see from here. And it is literally completely goosed. The whole thing is just a total mess. I'm not too worried, the body shell's fine. You can see here, if it'll focus in. Whee. There we go. You can see there the body shell is perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that at all. You can see the rods are falling out all over the place. But the shell itself, absolutely fine, lovely cab detail, all that sort of thing. And as you can see there, that was the biggie. Look at that. And you can see it's just, that's an absolute mess. I'm not even going to try and fix that. But what I've already done, I was going to hold off for the video until it arrived, but what I've already done is I've been on eBay and I've picked up a complete chassis, full running working chassis, to replace the whole of the underneath here. So pony truck, bogie, everything, driving wheels, the whole lot. So all I've got to do is remove the shell, place the new chassis underneath, and it's a fully functioning unit. But at the moment, not too bothered. Plus we had a bit of a stowaway inside, and I'm not too sure whether you're able to see this or not, but just down there, can you see him? Can you see him? Yes, there was a stowaway inside the packaging. It is very much dead. It's not alive. So if you don't like spiders, don't freak out. But that was a nice set. So the 3 coaches with the locomotive, even though it needs TLC, summer track, which I'll never use. I don't think I'll use this. In fact, looking at that, that is first radius. I might use that on something, but nothing on the actual layout. Another good controller. I do like those old controllers there for doing the test tracks and things like that. So we've got the locomotive, fully functioning, not damaged, tender, shell's in great condition, just wants that new chassis putting in underneath. 3 Gresley coaches in here, with the 2 additional coaches. What do you think? Well, let me tell you, it was £44. Now, as far as I'm concerned, that means I've paid, forget the locomotive altogether and everything else, that means I've only paid just under £10. Yeah, just under £10 each for the coaches. So I'm looking at it is I bought 5 coaches, I got a bonus loco that wanted some TLC, and I've got a few spares. Absolutely wonderful, can't be happier with that. And I actually didn't have any of these. I didn't have any of these Gresley BRs. I didn't have any of them, and I'm so glad I do now, because the colour is just, it looks wonderful on those Gresley teaks. It looks absolutely wonderful on them, and I haven't had any of them. So now I've got 5. Done really well there. So I'm going to put that to one side, and I'll show you what's next. Now, sometimes when I'm buying items, I like to relive my youth a bit, and if I see something that I remember my father having, I will pick it up. And in this case, it's actually one of the car transporters, and I remember these vividly because of the Mimics cars that were on them. We used to my father also had the Cartic car transporters in the blue. I did pick up 2, but one of them is really just for spares because it's missing some of the railings and things like that. I don't know, I might even try putting it back together, but that that I think that was actually thrown in with the bundle because of the fact that I picked it up. But anyway, it's got these lovely Mimics cars, and they're so shiny, whether or not we'll be able to pick up what they are on camera. Well, this one is a Morris 1100. Do you remember the Morris 1100? I think one of them's missing a wheel, but actually, luckily enough, in my boxes of spares, I've actually got a spare one of those, so I'm not too worried about that. Is that another Morris 1100? Yes, it is, in the white. So, and there's two more underneath, and this one is actually complete. It is complete. There's no snapped off parts, anything like that. It is in really good condition. And I do like picking these things up. And the fact, what really did it for me was the fact that it was actually still in its box. I mean, look at the stamp on the side of the box, Triang Hornby. And this is the centenary year as well. So I was really quite happy when I saw that. The bit of the plastic has broken off there. But look at that packaging, it's absolutely wonderful. So I picked that up as well recently. But that was more to relive a bit of my childhood with my father's trains and that sort of thing. And I do like picking them up from time to time, that sort of thing, because it is always nice to remember how you got into this hobby. In my case, it was through my father. So really happy with that. Look at that, Triang Hornby Model Railways. And yes, you can see I did actually pay the £4 for it as well, because I felt it was definitely worth the £4. So let's have a look at what's next. Now, another little project I've got going on at the minute is the breakdown trains, which I'm going to do a video on, because I'm actually putting two breakdown trains together, breakdown and maintenance trains, one for my railway and one for young Aidans Railway, which should prove, I think that'll prove to be an interesting video for some people who are interested in the whole Thomas and Friends things. I'm interested in Thomas and Friends things. I love them, but there's some that aren't. But anyway, I picked up a couple of Lima CCT vans. Now, everyone knows, and if you don't know what they're used for, get on Google, get on Wikipedia. There you are. They're still boxed, but they've been used for many things in their life over the years. And I know that these have been used on breakdown and maintenance trains in various guises, and yellow and things like that. And these seem really fine. They seem really good. Really quite happy with these. Nice CCTV van. CCT van, I should say. They've got the moving couplings. Lima, Italy. Metal wheels. I love my metal wheels. But there was the two of them. You can see put bits of polystyrene stuck to them all over the place. But they're really nice, and I think I only paid a couple of £2 each for them. And I thought they will go very nicely in a breakdown train or maintenance train. Anyway, well, there's a number of things they can be used for, but they certainly look the part. So like I say, I'm sure I only paid a couple of £2 each for them. There was no real interest in them. Nobody was bothered about them. So there we go. That's March so far. That's March's haul so far. Let me know what you think. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe. If you've got any comments on any of the items that I've just shown you purchased, what you thought about them or their prices, get in touch, leave it in the comments. And if you liked seeing what I've managed to pick up this way, we're only really into the first week of March at the moment. If you're interested in what I've managed to pick up on our second-hand bargains, nearly new, that sort of thing, give this video a thumbs up, and I love it when I get the thumbs up. I really like it when I get the comments, because it means I can get the opportunity to interact with you, and I do like that. I like having a bit of banter and conversation with you, the viewers. Remember, it's just a hobby, but I don't have a specific set as to sort of like what railway region, era or anything like that. I run what I want, but I might run that day, I'll run all L and ER or all BR and things like that. So I like to have that bit variation. So yes, don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, share, and I will see you again soon. Bye now.